Today I fucked up by powering through my post-COVID symptoms for the last 4 months without telling my husband about them. We're both pretty sure we got COVID at the beginning of April, based on sharp stabbing pains in our chest, like pneumonia. But at the time tests were only available to healthcare workers or those with direct exposure to confirmed cases, so all I got was an email consult with my doctor who told me to stay home unless I needed to go the ER. A week later, I generally felt better. Except for night chills. Holy hell, since that time, those have been horrendous. I've been afraid of waking up my husband, I've been shaking so bad. I don't fully understand it, my temp has never gone above normal. In fact it's been running often below 97, but I looked that up and saw it's not unheard of to have a low body temp if you're fighting pneumonia. The chills though, they aren't like slight shivering. If you saw a video of it, you'd think I was in the middle of an earthquake or having a seizure. I try to get through it by counting down from 100, then counting down by 2s, then by 3s, etc. When I get dementia, as long as I can remember what an elephant looks like, I'm totally gonna get one over on the doctors because I can count down from 100 by 7s like nobody's business now. Anyway, I haven't been complaining about it, because so many people have it so worse, and what's the point? Here's what came up in conversation yesterday. When my husband switched the house from heat to air conditioning, he didn't want to push the AC too low at night because we took in my parents' parrot last year. So instead he bumped down the thermostat on our waterbed. April. Last night I put an undershirt on under my pajamas and instantly cured myself of the long-term effects of COVID. Too long didn't read, mistook a change in our waterbed temperature for COVID chills for 4 freaking months. Are waterbeds any comfortable? It always seemed to me like if one person rolls over while sleeping, the other person would bounce through the ceiling. Waterbeds are like boyfriends, they can be the best thing ever except for when they are gaslighting assholes. I don't usually get launched unless my husband flops down with gusto onto the bed. Rolling over isn't really an issue. Pros: no dealing with dust allergies or dust mites. Great for germaphobes, you can just wipe it clean. You can have an overwhelmingly satisfying sense of smugness when you hear about other people dealing with bed bugs. In winter, you can crank it up, and sink into it like a warm hug. In summer, you can crank it down, but tell the other person FFS. And it's cool and refreshing even in a heat wave. It supports all your body evenly, so if you sleep on your side and have curves, you don't have a pressure point on your hips like with a firm mattress. Cons: you might end up going to the doctor to treat early menopause symptoms, night sweats, if you're in your 40s and the thermostat malfunctions. Diffused face. Till waterbeds are still a thing. Till waterbeds had thermostats. I thought you just put water in them and that was it. A similar thing happened to me about 20-ish years ago. I rented a room in a house and it had a waterbed. I had no idea it had a thermostat on it. After a few days, I noticed that every night I would wake up freezing cold even with multiple blankets on. Didn't want the homeowner to think that I was getting sick, and during the days I felt just fine. I thought for sure I had something, but late teens with no insurance, I just figured I would fight through it. The only way I found out was because I bought a new nightstand and saw a plug behind the old one and traced it back. It had a temperature dial on it. Oof, yes. There's another one of me out there. That's exactly the thing. I felt fine during the day. If I were cold all day I'd have just thought the house is too cold. But feeling fine during the day and having chills at night convinced me I was ill. I really commend the pacing of this post. I guffawed. Also, I'm glad you're okay. Okay, here goes. How do you make a waterbed bouncier? Add spring water. I'll let myself out now. Today I fucked up by realizing I had been banging my ex-GF's mom and causing a family rift. This indeed not happened today, but just had a friend reunion where we touched this awkward story, so I thought I would share. I have been a fellow Today I Fucked Up reader for a few years now, but obligatory new account to share my story. 8 years ago I, European male in his early 20s that time, was an exchange student in China in a small, provincial city, still over 1 million inhabitants, where foreigners were a rare sight that time. I went there with fundamental Mandarin knowledge and I was super focused on getting a better language proficiency. I thought the best idea to achieve this, apart from attending classes, was to get some local friends and hang out together and talk constantly. WeChat, the same WeChat Trump is now banning in the US, was just introduced that time, and it was getting super popular with the smartphone user netizens. It was not a dating app per se, but obviously many people used it to get to know girls/guys, and of course the app helped to have casual hookups as well. One day a Chinese woman added me as a contact via WeChat's nearby people function. She looked quite gorgeous on the picture, which does not mean anything because of the beautifying apps in place in Asia. We started to chat, and she was quite interested in me. During the numerous hours of chatting I learned from her that she was 43, got divorced a few years before, had a kid who was attending school, and she is working in finance. She was also quite open-minded and flirty, and brought up erotic topics. Fast forward 2 weeks, I asked her whether she would like to meet in person, which she agreed to, looked good in person as well, and after a quick dinner she invited me to one of her apartments. We did what adults do, liked the experience, so we agreed that it can continue, so we made it a regular thing. We also agreed that this whole was purely based on carnal pleasures, no emotions. She also mentioned that she knew it would not last forever and I would probably want a girl my age to be my girlfriend, and she was super okay with it. Fast forward a couple of months, I met a girl at a university different than I attend, who was super cute, gorgeous, and we were pretty much on the same waves, which is very rare between two persons growing up in different cultures. Started to date, became a couple, so after a few weeks I felt it would be the best to tell the situation to Miss 43-year-old hottie and not to double-cross anyone in this situation. She was sad, but understanding, so we did it for one last time and then we sort of broke up. She also said that she hopes I found a good girlfriend. After a few weeks, my then girlfriend said that it would be a good idea to meet her mom. I knew that her parents divorced and his dad living overseas, and she also was on good terms with her mom. She told me several times how cool her mom was on making money on the stock exchange. She also told me that her mom probably knew that my then girlfriend is going out with a guy, but she did not tell anything about me, and her mom did not ask questions. And here comes the FU. I did not connect the dots. Even though now these pieces of info seem to be clear red flags for at least a couple of follow-up questions, but then everything seemed quite general high-level info that I didn't give too much to think about. I didn't even ask my then GF to show me a picture of her mom, but blindly agreeing to meet her mom. It was a lunch, and gosh, my life's most awkward and longest lunch, and I couldn't even eat. When my then GF's mother came to greet me, she was frozen with shock, and so was I, because she was Miss 43-year-old hottie that I slept a couple of times with. After the initial few minutes shock, her mom recovered quicker than me, and tried to save the situation, but none of us were too good actors and it was very obvious that we met before. Her mom tried a weak lie that we met in the supermarket near their apartment, but it was not too convincing. I'm also not good in faking, so after the seemingly endless lunch we went for a walk, and my then GF pushed me further how on earth I met her mom. I spilled the beans and told her what we did with her mom. She was furious, obviously, broke up with me on the site, sent several messages later what a swine I was and what a slut her mom was, etc., then blocked me so I could not contact her. I also tried to contact Miss 43-year-old hottie on some update, and several days later she told me that they were still not on talking terms with her daughter due to what happened, but I shall not worry, it would be fine later, but better to cease all contacts between us three, so she deleted my contact as well. I just really hope that the unintentional rift I caused between the two was not too long-term. TL, Doctor, met a hot Chinese lady on WeChat and got into an adult relationship with her. Met a cute girl my age and started dating, resulting in breaking up with hot Chinese lady. FU by not doing a background check, and on a family lunch it was revealed that they are mother and daughter. FU by spilling the beans to cute girl what I did with her mom and causing a family rift. Why are there so many stories about ruining family relations here today? Didn't a story like this happen a couple days ago? The guy didn't realize he was banging his work friend's mom. This story sounds similar. Dude, like, I want to believe you, but I don't. Oh yeah, I saw this movie too. We did what adults do. You drank wine, filled taxes. Wow. This sounds exactly like the 3 posts I've read before this one. What a coincidence, am I right, lads? Today I fucked up by taking a seat in my husband's office chair with no clothes on. Read the Winnie the Pooh today I fucked up post and it reminded me of this story. Felt maybe today is the day I'll share it with at least all of you guys, because my husband will never be told of this event. So this happened 2 years ago. I had moved in with my then fiance, now husband, and we were sharing an apartment. He had just built himself a new, really flashy desktop computer, and sometimes I just like to hop into his seat and browse a few things on the internet instead of opening my laptop, etc. One day, post-shower, I was trying to cool down from all the heat and steam and was kind of airing myself out in the apartment. Meanwhile, my husband was home and just hanging out on his computer. At some instance, he decides to go to grab some tea and leaves for the kitchen. At this moment, I plop into his chair, and probably within like 20 seconds, I decide that this is a great time to fucking fart. I forcefully ripped one and felt the leather office chair underneath me go damp. I was mortified. My husband was in the other room. The smell was about to hit me at any point, and I had no idea how I'd explain a straight small shit puddle in his office chair. I suddenly almost scream that I need him to go to the pharmacy now. He freaks and tries to come near me, but no, I was not letting him get anywhere near me within a 10-foot radius, and I just kept insisting that he go out and get me some Midol. I probably seemed absolutely insane at this moment, but I'd rather appear in excruciating pain to him than a shart monster. Thank goodness my husband is quick on his feet and is the type to hop on important tasks. No questions asked, he flies out the door and runs across the street to the pharmacy. At this point, I haul the chair into the bathroom, clean up, and Windex the shit out of it. Long story short, to my husband, it was a night I likely got a small ruptured ovarian cyst, and required immediate pain meds. I have had this before and it hurts like absolute hell, but he doesn't know the extent of womanly problems much, so he didn't even question it. He never mentioned the sudden Windex smell of his chair though, and we never spoke of it. Too long didn't read. I sharted in my husband's office chair while he was in the kitchen by accident, freaked him out enough by acting like I was in pain and ejecting him out of the apartment to buy me pain meds, since ibuprofen and Tylenol wouldn't do, and Windexed the shit out of his office chair. He still doesn't know this ever happened. Edit, well, you guys made it happen. Front page, and guess who uses Reddit? My husband. I tried to keep my cool and almost laugh at this as if it was someone else's story, and for some reason as soon as I read the too long didn't read, he just straight went, haha, did you post that? And Velp. My taken aback silence and his following double take said it all. He knows, he actually didn't know this happened until now, lol. He still loves me, D. And while I find this horribly embarrassing, on the bright side, he can stop the shart jokes since it's not as funny anymore when I've actually done the deed, in his chair. Macron /_/ Macron. Thanks for all the hilarious additional stories in the comments, the awards, and just laughing at / with me. Lesson of the day, don't push farts out, let them flow naturally. This reminds me of when my sister needed an op, so I managed her beauty salon for her. As a guy who knew nothing, I just remained in the office and did the office stuff and let the girls get on with it, when suddenly one screamed. I went to see what happened. She was in the tanning room. I found the last customer had shit in the tanning bed. It was also on the chair in there too. As the girl was heaving, I told her to get some air and I cleaned it up for her. Safe to say I called that customer and banned them from returning. Good, honestly I would have told them to clean it themselves, or I charge them a shit cleaning fee. I threw up, and lost my other end and shit myself. While hobbling to the laundry/shower I called my ex's work phone. He hit speaker and I announced to all his co-workers, babe, I just threw up in the sink and shit myself, like fully just shit myself. It's coming out of my pants, babe. Chorus of hysterical laughter and me dying internally cause I realized I was on speaker. The Christmas party was great the next month. He should never have put you on speaker without letting you know. And Windex the shit out of it. I have to know if this was meant literally, or an unintentional pun. Was actually an unintentional pun, and while proofreading, I fully embraced it. Normally I think it's fucked up to lie to your partner, but I really can't hold this one against you at all. As the kids say these days, it be like that sometimes. At least he wasn't on a video conference call. I don't think I would have survived the relationship if I shouted while nude in front of any co-workers or friends. Imagine having to go to a work event. God no.